Jewish family service, like Congregation Shaarey Zedek, is a values-driven organization. We are informed by the following Jewish values. Tzedakah, the obligation of the Jewish community to create justice in the world. Tikkun olam, the collective obligation to work toward making the world right and whole. B'Tselem Elohim, treating others with the inherent dignity that arises from the belief that all human beings were created in the image of God. Derech Eretz, the code of mutual respect and responsibility that guides our daily actions, following the traditions of generations of Jews before us. Chesed, compassion, and caring for others. Gemalet Chesadim, acts of kindness and assistance towards others. Amcha, our sense of Jewish peoplehood that connects one generation to the next. Shlemut, the pursuit of wholeness through honorable actions. These values that I speak of in this sanctuary today, that we all live by, for most of us, they're second nature. It's our instinct, it's in our DNA, it's how we raise our families, it's how we live our lives. However, even though most of us reflexively are helpful, we give the shirt off our back, relying on this helpfulness in and of itself is not always sufficient. People who have come before us, people whose shoulders we stand on today, have had the wisdom, the courage, the foresight to establish institutions. Institutions like Shaarey Zedek, like the Jewish Federation of Metropolitan Detroit, and yes, Jewish Family Service. They created these institutions to ensure that what we do here at Jewish Family Service and elsewhere would be intentionally, proactively, and properly tended to. And it is our responsibility to honorably carry on this tradition. This morning, I will talk to you about my business, my organization, and let you know that it's your business too, Jewish Family Service. Many of you know Jewish Family Service in one way or another throughout your lives. Maybe it was your relationship to Soviet Jewry as Jewish Family Service was helping to resettle thousands of people into our community over the last many, many decades. Maybe you or someone you love was fortunate enough to be able to adopt a child through Jewish Family Service, to create a Jewish family. Maybe a friend of yours has shared with you how meaningful and important it has been to him or her to be a mentor in Jewish Family Service's Mentor Connection program. Maybe you volunteer as a physician in Jewish Family Service's Project Chesed Access to Healthcare service, which serves pro bono patients in between paying patients in many of your offices. Or maybe similarly, you're an attorney who volunteers your time in our legal referral service. Maybe JFS helped you or a loved one through a hard time, through a rough patch. A few numbers: 12,000, 107, 85, this is a big one, 10,070,032, that's all one number, 28, 560, 31,001, 12,000. This is the number of people that Jewish Family Service roughly touches in a year, whether through ongoing assistance or a telephone referral. 12,000. 107. The Tigers have 25 on their roster. I'm lucky enough to be able to play with 107 All-Stars. I'm lucky to call my colleagues, case managers, drivers, psychotherapists, psychiatrists, a nurse, homemakers, etc. 85. In 1928, some 85 years ago, in between World War I and World War II, before my parents were even born, Jewish Family Service was founded. This is a significant year for Jewish Family Service, a milestone anniversary, our 85th. The big number, 10,070,032, many of you are figuring out what that is already. this is what our projected annual budget is this year. Sometimes this feels like a lot of money to me, other times not so much. It's what donors, foundations, the state, the Federation, the Jewish Fund, the Claims Conference, the Jewish Women's Foundation of Metropolitan Detroit, United Way. In other words, the people and the entity that invest in Jewish Family Service, it's what they provide, it's what they support us with to carry out our mission. 28. This is the number of discrete services and programs that we offer. 28. 560. This is the number of Holocaust survivors the Jewish Family Service served last year. 560. 31,000. That's the number of rides that Jewish Family Service's 14 vehicles, 11 bilingual drivers provided last year throughout the metropolitan area and beyond for frail, aging adults to get to essential appointments, doctor's appointments, to help them to age in place. 31,000. And one, you figured this out by now, one is the most important number. One is the number, it's the person who's in front of us at any given time. One person at a time. So, let me tell you about what Jewish Family Service does in a little more depth. A few stories as well. Those 28-ish programs and services that I referenced before all fit nicely, I'll pretend for a moment, in a few buckets. Safety net services, child and family services, and older adult services. Jewish Family Service is the community safety net. We are always the best first place to call when something bad happens. When someone loses a job, receives a foreclosure notice in the mail, can't pay a utility bill, doesn't have a place to sleep, needs help with expenses for the holidays, Jewish Family Service can help. Through the generosity of an amazing Jewish community, we have the ability to partner with individuals and families to solve problems and help people attain greater self-sufficiency. Recently, this week as a matter of fact, a parent of 3 children, all under the age of 5, left the family's home over 1,000 miles away from here, fleeing a dangerous situation, winding up only coincidentally less than 100 miles away from where we sit and stand today. Someone who is helping that individual, not in this community, learned that they were Jewish and learned the importance of being Jewish to this family, and that person called Jewish Family Service. Without going into any details, of course, that would compromise this family's safety or confidentiality, Jewish Family Service, again, this week, helped to relocate this family to this area so that they can feel safer and be helped in a Jewish context. A Jewish woman with multiple sclerosis in her 60s faced the inevitability of having to move into a nursing home. She was confined to a wheelchair and her home simply was not equipped. Through Jewish Family Services Project Build, a program that helps low-income people with home modifications, a volunteer contractor, volunteer tradespeople, supplies donated by Home Depot, renovated her home to include a first-floor bathroom with a shower that she could wheel into, avoiding having to move into a nursing home. A young family, including 2 children this time, needed assistance moving out of a relative's home as the relatives were going through a home foreclosure. JFS was able to invest in this family with 1 month's worth of rent assistance and is working to help them access other resources to furnish the new home as they create their own home for the very first time. The mother is employed full-time in a minimum wage job, and the father is not able to work but is receiving Social Security disability income each month. With this income, the family is able to afford the rent of the apartment and live a dignified life. Bucket number 2, child and family services, although I've talked a lot about children and family so far. We all have problems from time to time. It's part of the human condition. Sometimes, as you know, it's important to seek professional support. Licensed social workers and psychologists, a psychiatrist as a medical director, counseling for individuals, couples, families, and groups. For family problems, grief issues, marital problems, anxiety, depression, adjustment issues, divorce, loss, school issues, abuse, neglect, domestic violence, social anxiety, for anything, Jewish Family Service counsels people who need help. And we're not only a Jewish Family Service, we're also housed throughout the community at Hebrew Free Loan, the Frankel Academy, Yeshiva Beth Yehuda, Yad Ezra, and more. Bucket Free Older Adult Services. Jewish Family Service gets calls, all kinds of calls, from adult children from San Diego to Farmington Hills. Incidentally, the one number to call nowadays in our community for all things Jewish and older adult is the one number, 661-1836, high, double high, that's housed at Jewish Senior Life that we're proud to partner with. The calls that one number gets at Jewish Senior Life or a Jewish Family Service, those calls always sound something like, "My parent is not doing well, can you help?" Jewish Family Services answer, Jewish Senior Life's answer for that matter, of course, yes we can help. How can we help? Geriatric social work, kosher meals on wheels, home care, escorted transportation, volunteer services like friendly visitors, Holocaust survivor services, emergency financial assistance, home-based psychotherapy, family caregiver assistance. That's how we help. Last, your takeaways. Like it or not, all social problems know the Jewish community. We have every problem under the sun. And there are organizations, Jewish Family Service and our sister organizations in our Jewish community and the broader community that are here to help. So the takeaway is all social problems exist in the Jewish community. Second, Jewish Family Service is your Jewish Family Service. It's not just for Jewish families on the other side of town. It's for you to support, to seek help at, to spread the good word about. Thank you very much for allowing me to kick off this very important initiative that Shaarey Zedek is doing. I'm honored to be a Jewish Family Service. I'm honored to be here before you today. Shabbat Shalom and a happy and a healthy new year to all of you and to your families.